Frugal Company is there to help social entrepreneurs and as well as companies to innovate frugally and to grow meaningful business. So to go towards a conscious business or which is beneficial to the planet and the people to create prosperity.
Hi, I'm Dr. D.
And I'm Princess Gaia. And today we would like to welcome Abhi. Abhi is a frugal innovator, and in these means he acts privately and in business very, very responsible and on behalf of a thriving planet and a beautiful life on Earth for all beings.
Frugal innovation is about creating value, so value for the society, for environment, and of course economic value by minimizing the resources, energy and capital, and of course time being used. But this can be done only if we use our ingenuity. The more ingenious we are, the more creative solutions we'll find to make an impact on people and the planet. So this is a magic pencil made by my friend Shiva in Pondicherry. And so why is it a magic pencil? This is a frugal pencil. So basically this pencil is made instead of wood, it's made out of recycled paper, newspaper, which has been wound to make the pencil. So that's not the end of the story. Here, if you see behind the pencil, there is there's like a half a capsule in which there are seeds, and so there are tomato, coriander, and chili seeds. And so it's basically it's not even just a pencil; it's actually a medium to communicate and transmit this philosophy to children about ecology, about Gaia. So basically you just plant, so it's basically a plantable pencil. You plant the pencil, you water it, the next day you remove it because the capsule has melted with the water, and then you use the pencil, you can put back the waste into the ground. And so he uses this for also fundraising for his NGO. And it's not the end. If you see, I've also printed my company name on the pencil. So you see just a simple pencil having so many functions, and that's frugal innovation. The core values of the Frugal Company are integrity, adventure, and empathy. And I think these are the right ingredients to create the alchemy for change. I think integrity keeps everything aligned. Adventure takes you that extra mile, and empathy and compassion helps you identify with the people and the planet.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Abhi, is there a specific incident that comes to mind that kind of helped you decide that this was something that you wanted to get into?
Definitely. So basically, 5 years back, I had created a company in big data with some people, with a team of developers in India and 2-3 co-founders in Paris, and we did everything the wrong way. It was an anti-frugal company, and so after a year, we closed down the company, and that's when I realized that what frugal really means, and I realized that if we need to really try and solve a problem and find the real problem to solve. So first was this failure, and then after that, I started giving talks on entrepreneurship and startups. So I was looking to network with people. And then one fine day, after one of the talks, there was someone who came and approached me because I was speaking about a term called jugaad. And jugaad is in Hindi, in Indian language, it means it means the MacGyver mindset of problem solving. So you just find a solution to any problem. So I was explaining that in India, we have this cultural trait called the jugaad mindset, and we just find a solution at any cost. And I was comparing that to the French mindset, which is the Cartesian mindset, and which is totally averse to uncertainty, ambiguity, and they just want to solve all the problems that we don't yet have before we go to the market. And the Indian mindset is, okay, we will solve all the problems on the go. And finally, that was one of my best talks, and I never felt so much gratitude when after the talk, I got like a standing ovation, and I was like, wow, I really made an impact. And then I decided that's what I want to do.
I was actually thinking about what you were talking about, this concept of getting things done at all costs. I don't know if you've ever read some of the work by Sarah Sarasvathy.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's effectuation in action is basically what you're describing.
Exactly. So indeed, it is the effectuation mindset behind it. Totally. So there are a lot of shades to the effectuation mindset. So I explored what does this effectuation mindset have in common with design thinking, with lean startup, with industrial concepts of Lean Six Sigma and conscious business. So how do all these things come together, and like what's common to social entrepreneurs? So there's definitely a mindset. There are values that drive the entrepreneurs. There's a method and tools, and then it's about storytelling and leadership of how they manage to communicate this this mindset and inspire others to solve a bigger problem. So basically, these workshops are for CEOs or managers, project managers, and it's about making them realize about the resources that they have in them and the constraints also that are in them. So basically, when we think of problem solving, we think about resources and constraints that we have. But normally, we also have our own constraints that block us from innovating. And so typically, there are a couple of cognitive biases in play. So for example, you have the functional fixedness, which stops you from seeing the potential behind an object. You just see what the object was meant for to be. So a hammer, you just see it as a hammer for hammering. But you don't see the potential that lies in a hammer to dig a hole, to break ice, and do so many other things. And the problem in companies is that things have been done in a certain way for a couple of years, and so it becomes a routine, and they become blind spots, and they just forget, they just cannot see around that. So one is breaking functional fixedness. The second cognitive bias is the Einstellung effect, which means that even if a simpler solution exists, you prioritize a more difficult solution, but which you know how to do. So just because out of sheer laziness, even if you know that by a little more effort you can find a simpler solution, you don't do it. So that's just sheer laziness. And the third cognitive bias is tunnel vision. So, and that blocks employees or companies to see beyond their scope and how can we be open to opportunities. And so I do this by breaking their fixedness, by showing them magic tricks, or an exercise that I make them do is I give them a bottle of plastic, and I tell them that how can you save the world with a bottle of plastic, and you have 10 minutes. And along with that, I give them some corks, scissors, Scotch tape, and some random things, and then the time starts. And so at first people panic, and then they realize, wow, like some of the teams, after 4 minutes, they've already come up with a solution. So solutions go from toys or making a smile, that if we can make people smile, we can change the world. Someone had made like glasses. So they said, if we change the way we see, we can change the world. Someone had made like prothèses, like for handicapped people, or hearing aids. and you're just amazed of how in such a short time people can make such wonderful innovations. Last year, I'd gone to Guadeloupe for a workshop, and there was totally a different kind of a workshop. It was in nature, and so we had a half-a-day workshop in nature using the things that we had in nature. So that was fun too.
Sign me up. That sounds absolutely fantastic. You know, you have an adaptation of the business model canvas, I noticed on your website. Wondered if you would share with our audience kind of how you use that in some of your workshops.
Okay. So basically, I analyzed what are frugal innovations and frugal business models, and then I reverse engineered to find out like what is common in all these frugal innovations and frugal business models, and what are the aspects that someone needs to keep in mind. And based on that, I tried to simplify and adapt it by creating a frugal strategy canva, which basically asks 8 key questions to help you think about your resources, your community, and the company. So basically, in the frugal strategy canva, you start by asking, what is the problem that you want to solve, and what is the intention? And I think the main problem in organizations is finding the right problem to solve. A lot of times that problem is not even a problem. So the most difficult part of this whole exercise is finding the right problem to solve. And once you found the right problem to solve, you identify what are the targets, objectives, and non-negotiable constraints. Because frugal innovation is about leveraging your constraints to find solutions. So once you have put down the constraints, you see how the third question is, how can I encourage internal and external communities to cooperate? So frugal innovation is about leveraging the community. So the community of co-workers, entrepreneurs, as well as collaborating with the whole value chain, be it your clients, with suppliers, with everyone. So think differently of how can you combine the whole community. And then you see doing more. What can you increase, add, or improve above industry standards? So that's where you need ingenuity to see what can you improve in what you're doing. And then you make an audit of your available resources. So what are the resources that are underused today, and how can you leverage them? The sixth question is natural resources, wastes, features that need to be removed, reduced, or replaced. So it's similarly, you go through a brainstorming session to identify what are these resources. The seventh is, can the solution be robust, modular, simple, and sustainable? And so by asking these questions, it helps organizations think in a 360-degree way to cross-check their strategy, their innovation strategy. The last question is, what are the adjacent revenue streams, like leasing models, subscription, and other innovative value distribution models? So I'm sure the frugal strategy Canva will evolve, but currently that's how I'm using it. It's just a Canva to help people think frugally about the philosophy of frugality, like modular design, sustainable, circular. So yeah.
Let's say that our audience really would like to get in touch with you. They'd like to know more about some of the work you do, or they'd be interested in collaborating with you. How can they reach you?
So they can reach me on my company website, www.frugal-company.com, or they can connect with me as well on my second website, which is the innovationtarot.com, which is a card game that I created for helping people solve their problems.
Very cool. Well, if you've liked this particular video, I always say it, make sure that you give us a thumbs up. That's a like. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section below. Make sure you definitely reach out to Abhi if you would like to know more.
So for me, my superpower is I help others materialize their ideas. And I can do that in different ways. So I see myself more as an alchemist trying to bring an idea into reality.